Welcome everyone. We get the big draft one more day. All right, episode 89, I believe, MTL Sports Podcast. Our draft special. Draft, you guys will be watching this Thursday morning. This will come out the day of the draft. Big day for a lot of teams. Literally make it or break it. You got to get these picks right, all right? The first round is Thursday. Rounds 2 and 3 are Friday, and the rest is Saturday. So we got a lot to cover, guys. Starting with, we're going to preview probably the first 5 to 10 picks of the NFL draft. And then from there, we'll move on to some sleepers, maybe some guys you might not have heard of, maybe heard of a little bit, where they should go, which teams would benefit the most. And then, of course, we got to go with our wish list of players for our favorite teams. The Panthers and the Bengals, we got some players that we would love to have drafted to our teams. Maybe we'll sprinkle in a little bit of NBA, but we'll see if time permits. So, with all that being said, stay tuned. Let's kick off this wonderful NFL draft podcast episode. All right. Let's start with the mock draft. We're going to preview picks 1 through 10, similar to last year. Let's start with number 1 pick. Of course, we get the Bears. They had the same situation last year, y'all. They had number 1 pick. Decided to trade out of that, give Justin Fields another year. So they traded with Carolina. Turns out Carolina was not a prominent team this season. So unfortunately for Carolina, the Bears got their pick that was supposed to be number 1. So the Bears are picking number 1 again. This year, they traded what they thought was franchise QB Justin Fields to the Steelers. And of course, this pretty much makes it so that they have to draft a quarterback. Will it be Caleb Williams? Lawrence, ask you that question. Is it Caleb, or are they going to go in a different direction?
No, it's Caleb. There is no other question to be had of it, in my opinion. I mean, it's just straight up Caleb. I mean, no one else has been even brought in to discuss like counter options. And honestly, you got rid of Justin Fields like that early on too, and you weren't dead set on who you're going to pick, then what was the point? So it's just Justin. It's just Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I agree. No difference for me. Number 1, I got Caleb Williams. Yeah, he's just gonna have to be a Bear, and he's gonna have to like it. That's all there is to it. But number 2 gets a little bit more interesting. I think some of the betting books have a 49% chance that LSU's Jaden Daniels goes to the Commanders. And then I believe the next 2 up are Drake May and JJ McCarthy. So the Commanders have a lot of options. They had a presser last week that Adam Peters said he was pretty confident that he's going to stay at 2. So it looks like no trades are going to happen unless someone gives them a deal they can't refuse. So, Lawrence, what do you think happens here? Does Commanders take a quarterback, or do they make that trade?
In my opinion, I think you take a trade that can't be refused if it happens. Because if you could go get some offensive line help to fix some possible fix some holes that are had in your offensive line, because at this rate, it doesn't matter who you're going to pick a quarterback because they're going to die. But since I think the quarterback is going to die at this system, I think it has to be Jaden Daniels, mainly because he's more of a scrambler kind of guy. And I think that's what they're probably going to try to utilize. Because let's face it, you know your O-line's bad. You can't really roll in there with the Drake May because you just get murdered. It's just going to be the same thing as a Sam Howell. I mean, they're both from North Carolina, and they're both gunslingers. They both throw the ball pretty good. But without an O-line, and the guy can't run around as well as Jaden Daniels can, and he's just going to get murdered. So I think whether or not you think Jalen Daniels is the better talent other than Drake May, which I kind of would take Drake May over Jaden Daniels, because I just felt like Jaden Daniels' Heisman was a little bit padded with stats. You know, he did beat up on some, not too, hot teams, while other guys were, playing pretty much not ranked teams week in and week out, but they were playing, Big Five schools, while Jaden McDaniels is beating up McNeese State. So, I'm going to do a Jaden Daniels just because of what he can do with his feet and the fact that there is no O-line, and it's going to take a little bit of time building the O-line because it's just not an overnight thing. So you just got to have a guy to fill the void and can go with you in the future.
All right. Fair enough. Lawrence has a trade at number 2. I think for number 2, I think for me, Commanders, I think they don't have to take quarterback, but I think they're pretty adamant on not trading. So unless, the Vikings, maybe the Raiders, unless they can give up their whole entire future, they probably will take that trade, like you said. But it looks like right now teams aren't willing to do that for number 2. So I think for me, number 2, I'm going Jaden Daniels. I think that's just who they want. In terms of, look at the OC, Cliff Kingsbury, the type of quarterbacks he's worked with in the past. Jaden fits that profile pretty well. Probably moves a little bit better than Kyler. And I think Kingsbury was there for Patty Mahomes as well. So he moves a lot better, actually. More Lamar Jackson-esque. Can throw the ball really well. And he's going to probably make Kingsbury a head coach again if he can translate over to the NFL. But in my opinion, he's probably the highest ceiling, if that makes sense. I think Caleb has the highest floor. I mean, Caleb was probably at worst going to be top 15-ish. I think Jaden Daniels can, if he figures it out, he definitely can be a top 5 quarterback. So I think they're going to go with potential, kind of how they did with RG3. I think they're going to take that same route.
And they're going to get him killed like RG3.
Yeah, same situation, right? The offensive line is just not the best for both those guys. Moving on, though, we got number 3 with the New England Patriots. They definitely bottomed out last year. Mr. Belichick is gone. They brought in, what's the guy's name? Former linebacker there. I think he was under Coach Belichick.
Gerard Mayo.
Yeah. Gerard Mayo is now the new head coach. They got a new GM in there. I'll take this one first. I think for me, I'm conflicted. I'm 50-50, y'all. I really do think that they need to trade because they just have too many holes, way more than the Commanders do. So they could really, really benefit from a trade. But there's also, them signing Brissett, and they're pretty adamant about him at least starting the season. So that gives me thought to believe that they might take a project, or maybe like a short-term project, which a lot of these evaluators are equating Drake May to a short-term project. So I'm kind of split, but let's just go with Drake May at 3. I think when it comes down to it, I don't think it will probably take a nice hefty sum for the Patriots to trade this pick. And like I said with the Commanders, I don't think a team is willing to do that just yet. Maybe not for 3. Now, when we get to 4 and 5, it's a different story. What do you have going on at 3, Lawrence?
No, see, in my opinion, I think there's a trade here. I think it's going to be. So I think it's going to be like a few teams, right? I feel like it might be like a Giants trade up to try to get him, and then you see the Daniel Jones gets moved. I see like maybe like a Vikings moving up and giving up future for like a promising now guy or some guy they think can start within 8 games of Sam Darnold playing. Honestly, it goes 2 ways. I think the most likely trade up is Vikings. If Vikings trade up, Vikings are going Drake May. If the Patriots stay, however, in my opinion, just my opinion at least, I think they mess up. I think they fumble a bag here, and I'm pretty confident they're probably they're gonna go JJ McCarthy for that clutch factor that everyone talks about with him, his clutch gene, his ability to clutch a game out, even though pretty much throughout a whole game there's nothing like awe that stands out about him. Like there's no awe factor. But I mean, you got to remember why I think it's going to be a mistake is they're going to have Brady on their mind. Brady was the same kind of way for a lot of the beginning part of his career. There was no awe factor with Brady. He was really, really good. But he had clutch gene to win games. That's just Brady just had the clutch gene that so many other guys didn't have. I mean, you can't tell me pass for pass if I'm going to pick a quarterback that Tom Brady was better than Peyton Manning. But the problem is Peyton Manning wasn't clutch like Brady was. Brady just next level clutch. There just wasn't anything else like him. So I feel like they're going to see a Michigan guy who has the same ability to be clutch, and they're just going to fall in love with it, and they're going to take J.J. McCarthy, which, I'm not going to say completely against, but I just don't think there's any wowness to it. And, J.J. McCarthy also had, like the best team in college football for, 2 years straight. And, they weren't even that clutch the year before.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He did have a really good team, really good defense. And, of course, Harbaugh just pounds the ball with his running back. So he wasn't asked to do too much. Now, he did make some clutch throws, like you said, but just not a wow factor. I like I said, I wouldn't hate the Patriots if they took him, but it's probably not the right pick, I think is what we're trying to say here.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but it probably would happen.
Number 4, we got the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals, I think, they're in a little bit of a different situation. They could easily stay here and just get Marvin Harrison Jr., but they also have some holes to fill. And Kyler's still running for his life, so and their defense, they definitely need to get some edge rushers. Like Tevin said last episode, they just don't have any edge. The guys off the edge. So I think the Cardinals make a trade. I think they move back, probably still within range to get Marvin Harrison Jr. So look for maybe the Giants, like you said, Lawrence. I think the Giants is a team that could easily slot in here, take this pick, or even the Vikings. If Patriots say no, the Vikings are going to come in and just give their best offer to the Cardinals, and they're going to accept it because if they can get either, I'm not going to say they're hell bent on Marvin Harrison Jr., but they can get him or Neighbors or even Brian Thomas Jr., which I think they would be okay with. Any one of those 3 guys, if there's, if the run for receivers don't happen until 11, then they'll be fine. So they'll be fine with 11. So I think this pick goes to the Vikings, and then they're going to get J.J. McCarthy. I think Drake May goes 3. So I got J.J. going 4 to the Vikings via trade. What about yourself? What do you got the Cardinals doing here?
Now listen, I believe in a lot of things. And one of the things I believe, I think the Cardinals, I think they're looking into the future and trying to keep their big star happy, which is Kyler Murray. And if you're going to try to make sure he stays happy, he stays content, you gotta go wide receiver, because he's going to want a weapon. He's going to want his own version of a weapon that every other guy in the league really has, and something Kyler Murray hasn't ever had the whole time he's been there. He hasn't had an amazing weapon. Yeah, you can say Hollywood Brown, but we kind of were questionable Hollywood Brown at the Ravens for most of his career there. So
that's true.
He was never a major star. So I think they're going to finally get Kyler Murray, his man, his guy. Now the real question is, which guy is that? In my opinion, I take Neighbors, but it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. for the name, and pretty much what you're going to get out of him. Like you just kind of know based on his father, and you kind of get a good grasp. You kind of follow your dad's footsteps a lot of the time. Maybe a little bit more laid back, but he's gonna have real NFL coaching from a guy who played in the league for so long.
Yeah.
So I think the just safe bet, go non-diva, because you're gonna figure that Marvin Harrison Jr. will never turn into a diva. So you just kind of go with that one and hope that could be like a franchise guy for you, like a solid piece that you keep for seasons on seasons. Now, is he going to be a Larry Fitzgerald kind of guy? That's kind of that's kind of lost in the wind now. No one ever does that, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, very valid point. I think namesake alone, you know what you're getting there. The kid is fantastic. I have him as my number one receiver. I just haven't seen anything like this kid in a while. So I would definitely Cardinals. If you're hell bent on it, I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. But let's move on. Number 5, Cardinals. The Cardinals are not the Cardinals. The Chargers here. I don't think there's going to be a trade for 5. I just think they probably stay put. So Lawrence, what are your thoughts about this 5th pick by the Chargers?
Yeah, the Chargers know what they need. At this point, the Chargers need offense. Defense, they decided to keep their defense there. They kept Mack and they kept Bosa, so they're sitting packed at defense right now. I think probably second round or third round, they're going to go corners. One of the two. They're going to try to get someone later on. Maybe move back up in the draft to get a corner. But they're not going corner number 5, obviously. That'd be kind of foolish. And I think it comes down to 2 guys. If Neighbors doesn't get picked, you go Neighbors. If Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get picked, then you go Marvin Harrison Jr. By having chance if both of them are taken, which almost is impossible. But you don't know. You don't know. But honestly, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. get picked before. So that leaves Neighbors. And if there's one other guy you got to put on the card in order to, give some pushback, like some, back and forth with. Honestly, Brock Bowers. That's just something that they've never had. The entirety of Herbert's career is a tight end. And I think Bowers, you pick Bowers here, you're hoping to get like a Kittle. You're hoping to get like a Kelsey kind of role. And honestly, you kind of need that when you're playing in the same conference as the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are doing it right, and they figured it out, because they keep winning Super Bowls and keep getting to the AFC Championship just constantly. You kind of have to follow the same script, build yourself around it. I'm going to say they're going to go Malik Neighbors, but I wouldn't be shocked if Brock Bowers' name comes early. And we're all sitting here with our mouths open going, wow, Brock Bowers just what? Because honestly, it's your own division that's showing you the blueprint. You get a good tight end, you can get good wide receivers to fill the roles. What they're going to do at wide receiver, they say it's a wide receiver deep draft, get one in the second round, get a corner in the third round.
Hey, fair enough. I think for me, I want to go receiver right here, but I think with Harbaugh coming in, he loves to run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball effectively, partially due to their actual running back, and I think the other half is just the offensive line just isn't the best. They're kind of stuck at average. So I think this is a chance for him to kind of take the offensive line in the direction that he wants, to be able to run the ball consistently and effectively. So I think they go offensive lineman here. Now, you can take whatever your pick of lineman that you want. Joe Alt or what's the other guy? Tuha, or whatever that guy's name is from, I think Oregon or something.
You mean Washington?
Or even Oregon's. No, Talisi Fauga, Oregon State. My bad.
Oh.
That kid. I think either one of those work here. But I think, probably Joe Alt, because he's probably like the best offensive lineman, I think, by far. Well, not by far, but he's typically graded the highest offensive lineman. So I think they go Joe Alt for the number 5 pick. Number 6, we have the Giants. Lawrence, what do you think about the Giants here? Like you said earlier, they could be in the wheelhouse for a quarterback. Then, maybe move Daniel Jones, but we don't really know at this point. What is your thinking of pick 6 right here?
Well, in my opinion, that you're the Giants. And based on what we've said so far, you go Neighbors. Neighbors is still on the board for us because I think Brock Bowers is going to the. I think he's going to the Chargers. So, based on who's on the board for both of us, Neighbors is going to the Giants. We've been saying that about the Giants forever now. You don't really have a awesome wide receiver out there. You don't have any playmaker. You got Darren Waller. He's always hurt. You got Sterling Shepard. He's been there forever, but he's never been amazing. You're going to have to get an amazing guy. You're going to go get Neighbors.
Yeah, I think we agree on this pick. I think Neighbors goes here. I mean, the run after catch, insane. Speedster, a little bit shorter than Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's only 6 foot versus 6'4", but can still high point the ball, can run all the routes. I mean, what else do you want from a wide receiver? He's like, reminds me a lot of Jamar Chase, but, just like, I mean, I think he has a lot of the LSU receiving records. So, I mean, that just tells you enough right there. Definitely helped Jaden Daniels with his Heisman case. So, I think 6, they have to go receiver if they're not going to go quarterback. I think there's only 2 options. And if they don't trade Daniel Jones on draft night, then they're going to go with this kid. So, number 7, we're up with the Titans. The Titans, I think it's pretty safe to say that, they got D-Hop, and then they traded for, they signed Calvin Ridley, right?
Yes.
They don't have King Henry anymore, but they do have Pollard, so they still have somewhat of a semblance of a running game, plus you got two borderline number ones, because Hopkins is kind of on the back end of his career. Calvin Ridley, he was always a borderline number 1. So I think they're set at receiver. I think offensive line is where they have to go here. So the kid from Oregon State, I got going here because if it wasn't Joe Alt, he would go here. But no, I think he goes first, and then this Oregon State kid goes right here at 7.
I completely agree with you. I just think they take Joe Alt here. I think we're in agreement right now. They're based on everything they've done in the offseason, they're going O-line to allow the ball to be thrown down the field. So in this pick, I will probably say it's going to be an O-lineman. And for me, I still have Joe Alt on the board, so I'm going to take Joe Alt.
Nice there. At 8, we have the Falcons. They got a new head coach, defensive-minded guy. They still got, they signed Kirk Cousins. They still got Kyle Pitts. They still got, what's his name? What's the running back they drafted last year? I forgot his name already. Bijan Robinson. I think in terms of receivers, though, they're lacking. I don't know if they go receiver here because defense, they still need to shore up a little bit. So I'm at a tough spot right here. I think Brian Thomas could go here. I think the run for receivers starts right now. I think at 8, Brian Thomas isn't a bad pick. Because I just don't think they have receivers. I think they got don't they have Mooney? They picked up Mooney. I think they have Drake London, but Drake London he hasn't had a consistently good thrower, so maybe Kirk Cousins brings that out of him. But if you bring in another guy to maybe complement you so you don't get double teamed every single play, you don't have coverage, shifted to your side of the field, maybe it could, result in a breakout season for Drake London. So I think Brian Thomas Jr. is probably a safe pick for the Falcons if they want to continue building offense, which I think they do here. What about you, Lawrence? What do you think the Falcons do here?
Well, being as I see them a lot, and something I saw them struggle constantly at was defense. And it was always about timely stops. It just seemed like something they were lacking. And something I know they're struggling in, because based on the age of their guys, is that line. I also think they need a corner. So there's 2 things that I think that no one has touched yet. And I think for them, they're going to think that they need to get the best person available. So the best person on the board. And according to the NFL draft, according to ESPN, best available will be Dallas Turner, an edge rusher. I think he might come off the board right here. Terrion Arnold might come off the board. He's a cornerback. I also agree that they need a defensive back. Kenyon Mitchell from Toledo apparently is still one of the best available on the board. Another one is like Byron Murphy II, defensive tackle. I think he might come off the board right here because I think in this pick for the Falcons, they're going to be thinking to themselves like best available, but based on what we need. and defense is something they're going to need because I think in their heads they have it figured out on offense. You didn't go out there and get Mooney, and you didn't think he could, he was worth anything. You think you have pieces there in place. He's a defensive coach. I think he goes defense. And honestly, in my opinion, what they're going to need in the future is edge, because they got a lot of older edge guys that are going to be moving on, retiring, wanting a place in which they're guaranteed to move forward and get possible Super Bowl. So Dallas Turner, I think, is probably going to lead the board right here. They're just going to go best available. And this is what ESPN tells me is best available.
All right, fair enough. Number 9, get the Bears again with their own pick for this NFL draft. They didn't finish too good of a season, but still end up with another top 10 pick. I think you draft Caleb, you gotta give him a go-to guy. You already got what's his name, DJ Moore there, but why not draft him another weapon, make his job even easier? So he can have an outstanding rookie season. So I think for me, we go Odunze at number 9. Lawrence, who do you have the Bears selecting with the number 9 pick?
I think they're going to go Pac-12. I think they're going to go Odunze too. I think it's just going to be a Pac-12 love affair for this team.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. Caleb's played against them. So he knows what he likes to do, watching film, scouting report on him. So I think they will love their time together in Chicago. Last pick that we're going to cover, guys. Pick 10 to the Jets. GM Aaron Rodgers is going to make this pick, y'all. Lawrence, what do you think he is going to select with the number 10
He's
pick?
taking an offensive tackle. He's probably going to ask for a tackle, not a guard or anything. He's probably going to go tackle. And according to NFL ESPN draft, best available is, I'm not going to try to say his name, but offensive tackle from Penn State. His name is like Fashawanu. That first name, I probably not going to be able to get said. But, I'm just going to say that's probably who they're going to try to get. If not, there's going to be some offensive tackle, according to this. J.C. Latham or Amiris Mims are also great available, or great abilities, or great, they're great according to NFL Draft on ESPN. So it's gonna be an offensive tackle. I don't know that much about offensive tackles. I don't know, all the offensive tackles off the top of my head. So I'm just gonna trust ESPN, and I'm gonna assume they're gonna try to go offensive tackle.
Yeah,
like the guy from Oregon State, if he's available, he might go. Someone's going that's offensive tackle.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be someone on the line. I think if he had it his way, he would go tight end, go Brock Bowers right here. He's still on my board. But I think probably the best bet, I think he might get overruled here. It's just to go tackle. You come off an Achilles, bro. Like, yeah, it would be nice to have Brock Bowers. But I think you can make do with Garrett Wilson, Ozuma, and some of those other guys. So you're just going to have to, trust that taking a lineman is going to help you way more than getting Brock Bowers. Even though Brock Bowers is definitely projected to be, game changing. I think they go offensive tackle. So I think, the kid from Penn State is probably getting drafted here at number 10. So we agree with that. But yeah, that's the top 10 guys we just mocked for you. Let us know if you agree. But coming up next after the break, we will discuss some sleepers for this draft. So please, NFL draft. Let's start with sleepers. We still got a lot more to cover. Sleepers of this NFL draft, whether it's on Thursday night, Friday night, or even during the day Saturday. We have a few sleepers that we want you guys to know about. So yeah, let's just kick it off there. Lawrence, who's your first sleeper pick? Someone that could bring good value to one of these teams out here.
I think Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is a sleeper. I don't think it's like your traditional sleeper, but I mean, Bo Nix has not even gotten, top quarterback quality, in the conversation at all. So I think Bo Nix is probably gonna be hanging around round 2, round 3, maybe probably not round 4, but he's gonna be hanging around outside the first. When in reality, he kind of is a first round talent. I'm actually gonna include these guys together, both Pac-12. I think Penix Jr. is also a guy. I mean, the fact that he's not going to go day one and pretty much everyone's confident he's not going day one. The fact that these two guys are going to mix them together are not going day one, kind of a little crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Both of those guys. If there's a run on quarterbacks, like I think Penix might go in the first round. A good pickup team would be the Raiders. I definitely could see them getting scared and just go ahead and selecting Penix. They can't trade back into the first round, or if they know they won't be able to kind of move up on day 2 to go get him. So Raiders definitely could do that. I mean, the kid's just awesome. Yeah, he has a little medical history, but apparently the medicals came back fine. He's good. His 40 time was pretty damn. I think he ran like a 4.5 40 or 4.6. So not the fastest, but I mean, if he needs to move, he can move. And we've seen all the throws. You know, even though he did have a really, really, really good offensive line, the kid can make all the throws. He just zips the ball. Beautiful pass. I think he's really going to change life for a team out here. And Bo Nix, like you said, yeah, he's definitely NFL ready. He's not going to go day one. But he's definitely starting caliber quarterback. Will he, how far he'll advance, we'll have to see, but definitely a sleeper. I think for me, another sleeper, I would say, I'm going to go the big tight end out of Penn State, Theo Johnson. He might go day 2. If a team, really needs a tight end, I think he might go day 2. Really big kid, can catch the ball, can block. He just does everything you want out of a good solid tight end. And if he goes to the right team, now he might even become borderline, or like a Pro Bowler. If he goes to the right team. So I like that kid out of Penn State. I think he'll be a nice addition to the right team. Lawrence, who would be another sleeper that you got?
I'm going to go with the fact that this is a wide receiver deep league or deep draft. I'm going to say Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. Steve Smith, the great wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers. He's kind of the one who said Cooper Kupp was going to be legit when everyone laughed at him. So you saw how that one turned out.
Yeah, he did say that.
I can't remember who else he said was going to be legit. Or no, he also said that Quentin Johnston for the Chargers was not going to be as great as everyone thought he was. He's kind of spitting right now. He didn't look that hot first season. But he's really high on Malachi Corley. They call him Yak God over there at Western Kentucky because that's really what he's really great at is yards after the catch. And honestly, the way the NFL is built around now, possible, a Yak guy is really good to have. So I'm not going to sleep on him, but everyone else is going to sleep on him because according to NFL.com and according to ESPN, he's not even a top 15 wide receiver. So.
Ooh, that's a slap in the face. I'm going to go receiver 2. I'm going to go Ja'Lynn Polk, another receiver out of Washington. He was fantastic playing with Penix. I think last season, he caught, what does it say right here? He caught almost 1,200 yards and 9 TDs. I mean, I watched him play a lot. The kid's really good, can high point the ball, run after catch. He's going to go day 2 sometime, probably in the second round at some point. But honestly, I mean, Washington had a bunch of receivers, and they honestly, I'm not going to lie, they all could probably borderline go number 1. But I got Ja'Lynn Polk. Any more for you, Lawrence?
I got one more because I think he was like a little bit of hated on, or not hated on, but I wouldn't say he was looked at early. But I'm trying to say his name correctly. The guy from Washington, he was a linebacker. He's a little small. He's only 6'1", but he was pretty much the guy On the defensive side for Washington, he was number 5. Adefu or Adefon or Adefuan Udoficio. Man, I'm butchering it so hard. I'm trying my best, man. But I mean, he was our linebacker in
It's
the
all
backfield
good.
who, just racked up tackles, just tackle after tackle, made big plays when it mattered, especially in the Texas game. And it wasn't the national championship, but the Texas game, he really shined. I mean, he made 5 solo tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 7 total tackles. I mean, you look at his other stats, I mean, he was constantly up there getting tackles. So I look to him to be kind of a slept-on linebacker because he's only ranked number 9 on ESPN and he's ranked number 11 on NFL.com. So, I mean, he's just not getting the love for a guy who made it to a national championship.
Yeah, it's a little weird. The team definitely could benefit. I think the undersized aspect is probably keeping him from being, I guess, more scouted and coveted. But watching him play, I think, definitely everything you said is correct. No doubt about that. Moving along, though, let's our wish list for different players that we want our teams to draft. I think I'll go first. I think I will speak for every Cincinnati fan in saying that we want Brock Bowers. Will he end up at pick 18? I highly doubt it. Now, there's some rumblings that Cincinnati's looking to move up. If they look to move up, it's definitely to grab Brock Bowers. Joe Burrow hasn't had a game-changing tight end. He's got tight ends paid, but has any of them really made his life that much easier? Probably not. That's what I would say. So I'm gonna go number 1 for me, Brock Bowers. If somehow, some way he falls to 18 or we move up in that 11 to 13, 14 range. What about you, Lawrence? I know the Panthers don't have a pick in the first round, but they could easily move up in the first round, or what's the second rounder?
So in my
just any player
opinion,
that you look
I
forward to,
feel
wish
extremely
list.
high in the fact that we should just stay where we are, and basically just get the first round, the second pick, or totally said that vice versa. Get the first pick in the second round and just kind of run with it because we get this. What is it? The 7th pick, I think, 6th pick in the second round at 39. That would be 7th pick. So anywho, we get the 7th pick in the second round. I mean, honestly, I want a wide receiver. I won't even beg or plead with who we get at wide receiver. I'm completely fine with Xavier Legette. Everyone's talking about Xavier Worthy. I don't really care. I just get a wide receiver who we know is going to be good, who's available at that spot. If Ladd McConkey is what is available and best on the board at that spot, you get Ladd McConkey. Literally, just get us anything that is gonna give us some talent on the field. We just need anything we can get, especially at wide receiver. So, I mean, that's really, really, really what we want and need. Next is completely dependent on if we go after Gilmore or not. If we go after Gilmore, or that's our our thought process, then I'm okay with getting a cornerback later on that we think is a good prospect. If we don't get Gilmore, or our mind is not made up to go after Gilmore, then I would please say I want a cornerback at that spot. If not, we need a linebacker. We desperately need a linebacker. We desperately need an edge guy. I mean, the list is long. So at the end of the day, if Chop Robinson's there, or Marshawn Nealon from Northern Michigan, or Darius Robinson is there for an edge rusher, or at linebacker, if Peyton Wilson or Trevin Wallace are there, down that low somehow, either get a linebacker, get an edge rusher, or get a corner. Because we got to spread the love. We can't just focus on one spot. our low line projected is supposed to be pretty decent. Keyword there is projected. So we have to hope that it'll take its place. Outside of wide receiver, I don't think there's killer needs. I think Tommy Tremble does a good job at getting open in the end zone in certain parts on the field. Yeah, we could probably get another tight end, but our biggest point is linebacker, edge, and corner, though. I mean, we desperately need that.
Fair enough. Cincinnati is definitely in the in line to get an offensive lineman at some point high in the draft, whether that's round 1, round 2, even round 3. So with this next, I guess, person on my wish list, I'm gonna go Brian Murphy. DJ Reader left to go to Titans. I believe. No, did he go to Titans or the Bears? I think the Bears actually. So went to one of those teams. So we have a void at defensive tackle, and Brian Murphy is the best one graded currently in this draft. So if he falls to 18, I think that's also would be a great pickup. Now he might get taken before 18, so that's why we're starting to hear the rumblings. Hey, they might move up. So I don't really care for offensive linemen. If they want to do first round or second round, I just think picking up the guy from the Texans. Forgot the guy's name, but we picked him up, so he's going to be opposite of Orlando Brown Jr. Jonah Williams left in free agency, so we have that guy for at least 1 year. So any offensive lineman is probably going to play behind him, or get some sparing minutes here and there. So this would be a great chance to go after DJ Reader's replacement, Brian Murphy. When I watched him play at Texas, just wreaked havoc. I think that would easily translate to the NFL. Even as a rookie. So I think that would be a great pickup for us. Then secondly, with T. Higgins' future, basically, he's going to be gone after this year in some shape or form, whether that's via trade or just him just leaving for nothing. I think they make a run at receiver again. Now, last year, they got the kid out of Princeton, Andre. I just always butcher his name, but what is that kid's name? Iglesias or something like that? Or I can't even say his name. But that kid had a great rookie year. But I think they need more of like an insurance policy, more of a sure thing. So I think in the second round, I think we have pick 48. Like I said, for sleepers, Polk would be a good pickup right here. He is actually included in one of the mock drafts ESPN put out for Cincinnati at that pick. So I think that would be a great pickup. Like I said, play good at Washington, easily fit in. Can take over T's spot in a year from now, and can easily fill that Tyler Boyd, third receiver guy who, if you need a quick throw or you need a third down, put him in the slot, do a little quick route, get you a first down. That's definitely what we need. So I'm going to go with those two players right there. Lawrence, any more players that you, kind of keen on the Panthers?
Not really. I want a linebacker, edge, corner. I want a wide receiver. If, by all means, we need some more, offensive tackle, offensive guard won't be a bad thing. I definitely won't complain about it. But honestly, someone who's slept on, which I don't think he'll be around because I'm pretty sure his own coach is going to get him before we can. But I mean, crap, man. If Blake Corum, the running back out of Michigan, is still around in the third round, fourth round, let's swipe him up. I mean, he's not a speed guy. He's more of a bulldozer bully kind of guy. If you look at our offense, our weapons at our running back, they're all kind of small. They're not very bulldozy like. And I think you need both. If he's not available, I'm pretty confident I'd be completely fine with Ray Davis out of Kentucky. Either one of those guys, they're both bully kind of guys. I'm completely fine with them kind of getting a little spice going on offense for a running back. Let's face it. Bryce Young's not pushing a pile. He's too small. So we need a running back to do the work.
Yeah. I think Cincinnati's in the same spot. They need a running back. Now, do they have to take one high? They don't necessarily have to take one high. I think they're in a good spot. They got Zach Moss for a year. Chase Brown came on strong at the end of last season. Kind of reminds me of Tony Pollard, where he could be like, he could split carries for somebody and be effective. I don't think he can be the main workhorse. I think he'll just he got injured early in the season, so that just leads me to believe that, taking a lot of, ground and pound wear, it's just not probably going to be his style. So, probably going to need to draft the back that can split the carries with him. I don't know any particular backs in this class. I don't think it's really a running back heavy class. So, just any running back that they feel like is a good fit. Maybe like similar style to Joe Mixon, where he's just going to pound his way through the middle, get you 3, 4, 5 yards. Because Chase Brown is more of a finesse guy off the edge, can catch screens, flare routes out the backfield, and then just get yards after the catch or some big explosive plays off the edge. So definitely need a guy that can just get you a first down when it's 3rd and 1, can move that pile. Also, corner. I know we've been drafting corners for it seems like the past 3, 4 years, but I think you just got to keep drafting them until you find one, find some that actually, can play some ball. I know, I think Cam Taylor Britt is, I think he's up in a year, so I don't know if they're going to re-sign him. So probably need to find his replacement, and just keep getting younger there. Just keep drafting guys, hoping that, some of them can stick around and be contributors. And then, of course, offensive lineman, like I said earlier. But I think, that's pretty much it for the draft. Day one, it's just the first round. I know a lot of people have been saying that the draft is going to be full of trades. A lot of people are saying 10 plus. Are you taking the over, Lawrence? Or are you taking the under on the trades at 10?
I don't know what it is. No one just likes to trade. No one likes to get a little spicy.
Yeah, I'm doing the under. I don't know where these insiders and these, scouts and all these media guys are hearing all this stuff from. I don't think, just to trade in the first round just requires so much capital, right? I don't think that a lot of these teams, especially some of these like teams in the middle, that probably need some things, but they also like have holes they need to fill. So it's like, is it really worth moving up to get this one guy who, it might make you better, but it's not going to make you that much better, So I don't really see 10 plus trades, but there's definitely going to be some trades, but 10 plus, I don't really see it. That's pretty much the draft, guys. Some NFL news today. Amon-Ra St. Brown got a bag, 4 years, over $100 million, $77 million guaranteed. Lawrence, how you feel about that deal? Well deserved. The Lions needed to pay him. The second guy to get paid out of this class? Him and who else got paid? And Devontae Smith got paid. So 2 out of a lot of receivers.
I'm okay with it.
Haven't been paid yet. How do you feel about it?
He's the best wide receiver on their team. He's a building block that they feel very confident about for the future. There is no hating this pick. Or this move. It's pretty much exactly what they need to move forward with the team. In my honest opinion, I think also signing Penei Sewell to a big deal was important too. It's just pieces, man. They're just pieces that you have to have. You're not even paying outrageous money for a quarterback that's doing fairly well for you. Jared Goff's getting kind of a lot of money, but he's not getting like high end, like Patrick Mahomes or anyone else kind of money. He's getting a decent bag, but it's also allowing people to be, get their own bag for the team. So completely fine with it. I think it was a smart move. I don't think I've seen the Lions do many mistakes yet.
Yeah, the new regime's definitely nothing but positive things, trending in the right direction. They need to get this done. no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'm not hating out the deal. Every player should get paid whatever that they're deserved of. Another news, unfortunately, Hendrickson is asking for a trade. Second Bengals player to ask for a trade this offseason. Yeah, I mean, he did get an extension last season, got a raise, but I think when you finish second in sacks, you kind of get up in your britches. You're like, oh, I'm the shit. I need to get paid more. My opinion, he won't get traded. I don't think a team's going to give up a first for him, which is probably what the Bengals would want. Same with T. They want a first. Teams aren't just willing to give it up. So he's probably going to stick around. I think his agent hinted he might retire if he don't get traded. I don't know about all that, but if it comes down to that, it comes down to that. I don't know, but my opinion, Bengals, for all the cap space. I mean, you knew these different things were going to pop up. You guys have a lot of cap space. You can't keep being cheap. It hurts you in the way pass. During the Chad Johnson, TJ Houshmandzadeh, Carson Palmer era. Look at they had a great team back then, and then just being cheap is what kind of tore that team apart. And you got a great team now. Don't do this. Don't make the same mistake twice.
No, I just think that's the way the Bengals run. They're like an English Premier League team that's like middle of the table. As soon as they get good prospects that should stick around and should be well sought after to not move off of, that's when they decide to get rid of it for as much money as they can. Instead of this situation, you don't get anything back for it. So maybe draft picks, but it's not the same.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same at all. Steelers, this is really, really puzzling. They're not going to pick up the 5th-year option for Justin Fields, which begs me to believe, why did you trade for him in the first place other than he was, a cheap asset to acquire? I mean, my thought process is pick up the 5th-year option. He's going to play behind Russ, and then you just let Russ walk next season because, I don't know, I'm of the opinion Russ probably will just have another average season. Then you just hand it off to Justin Fields, see if he can do something better. But I don't know. This is puzzling for me. Can you make it not puzzling, Lawrence? Like, what are your thoughts about this? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe it's because they don't know who he is yet. They don't have a good grasp. Maybe they think he has an attitude problem. Maybe they're trying to figure that out. Maybe it's because they don't know what they're doing. Can we not just believe that the Steelers have not lucked into having good quarterbacks in the past? And the fact that they don't have Ben Roethlisberger, they have not figured out anything since Ben Roethlisberger. I think it's just safe to say that I think the Steelers have gotten lucky. I mean, to an extent, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, they don't know how to handle a quarterback situation. It's proven that they don't know how to handle a wide receiver situation. I think maybe the Steelers have gotten a little lucky in the past.
I agree. I mean, like I said, Big Ben Roethlisberger had it for so many years, literally carried the franchise. And then when he declined, I mean, they were still decent. They still always have had a good team, but once he officially retired, then the Kenny Pickett era was just kind of shambles. So this is just I'm not gonna say much more about it. It's just puzzling. Staying in the AFC North, we got Bateman receives an extension. Surprising for me because Bateman's kind of like what's his name? Gabe Davis. He catches every other pass. Has a good game every other game. He also drops a lot of balls. So I can see why they did it, but I think there's probably better options.
They can do better.
What are your thoughts?
He was supposed to turn out and be something. I mean, you had Odell and you had Zay Flowers, and you still couldn't find the ability to get open and make plays. I mean, at one point they were double teaming Zay Flowers in the championship game. and you still didn't do anything, and Zay Flowers did. So,
Yeah.
I mean, good riddance. It'll be all right.
Yeah, so he's with the Ravens until 2026. So they're stuck with Bateman for 2 more years. Let's see how that hopefully that works out for them. Lastly, Reggie Bush finally got his Heisman back. About damn time. Shouldn't have been taken away in the first place. It's just a bunch of stupid politics and NCAA just bullshit. I'm glad for
Same
him.
boat.
Shouldn't have been taken away in the first place.
I don't think it should have been taken away. I mean,
what are your thoughts, Lawrence?
Dude,
same boat.
Everyone was getting money at that point. Why did it matter just because it wasn't legal? I mean, stupid.
Yeah. A little too late for any type of apologies. But of course, people are gonna people that were responsible, of course, are gonna apologize, try to make up, and try to make light of the situation. But they should all be shunned, and people should just shit on them for the rest of eternity, because that should not have happened. But I think that's all the NFL we got for you guys today. MTL Sports Podcast episode 89. Lawrence, do you have any final thoughts before we head on out? In terms of NBA, Lakers are down 2, lost, they're down 0-2. Suns are down 0-2, Lawrence. It's not looking good for the Suns. I think I'm like 80% sure that they're going to get sent home. They might get swept.
I can agree. I think they're going to get swept.
It's not looking good for the Suns.
Like I said in our podcast, and the Suns have screwed me over in the past, and I had a gut feeling that they were going to do the same, but I went against my gut feeling, and that's why you don't go against your gut feeling. I don't know. I guess some things I've thought about, or I'm thinking about, I placed a bet, and I'm pretty confident in it, and every day that I see it, I get a little bit more confident in it. And that is my fat parlay. It's only plus 430, but I thought it was a future one that I thought was a pretty good one. I got the the Rangers and the Washington Caps series going under 5.5 games. I think Washington will win game 3 or 4 at home. I have a bet for both of those for $4 each, at plus 1,200 plus 1,200 odds. So nice little payout, $48 for either one of those to hit, winning game 3 or 4. I think the Nashville and Vancouver series goes over 5.5 games. I think Nashville may or may not upset Vancouver in this series, so that's why I have it going a little bit further. And then I have the Boston Bruins to flat out win the Toronto series. All those combined is plus 430 when I bet it. Really confident in it.
Nice. I put some futures out just for some of these playoff series. Most of them are looking good. I had Pacers to win, Mavs to win. I had Suns to win their series. Like I said, I don't think the Suns are going to win. For me, the Suns needed, like the Lakers, they needed to split the first 2 games. They didn't. So, and they just looked bad. And in terms of just playing both games, I think it's just 3 guys just running ISO for the entire game. You're not going to beat the Timberwolves doing that. Yeah, they're youngsters, but I mean, they were in the playoffs last season. They went against the defending, the Nuggets, the champs, and they gave them a run for their money. So I think they have a lot to prove. They're not going to fall for the same trick twice, even if the Suns have any tricks. So I don't know. But Luka's not bad. He's a bad man, bro. Luka put on a show last night. The Mavs are the real deal. Kawhi looked good coming back. Could tell he's a little, out of rhythm, but for the Mavs to close out, they probably, I have a feeling they're going to win both games at home because the Mavs are just really good at home. Clippers on the road are iffy, but I wouldn't be surprised if they also split the Mavs home games as well. Anything else I want to go over? Lakers, game 3 is a must-win. It's just a must-win. That game-winning shot, it's tough. A lot of people are cooking AD online. Hey, man, any of the finalists for Defensive Player of the Year would have got cooked. So I don't want to hear none of it. All right, Jamal Murray, just got hot in like the last 2 minutes. He just wasn't going to miss, man. So I'm not blaming AD for that one, but I will blame the Lakers for once again forgetting how to play basketball for a quarter and a half. So they should be kicking themselves. Yeah, I think that's all we got, folks. We'll see you next week. MTL Sports Podcast, episode 89. This is our draft special. Hope you guys liked it. And we're gonna call deuces. See you guys next week. We're out.